Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. So, we have to talk about two trailers. One is we're going to talk about the Superman trailer. We're going to then move on to talking about Ironheart, and then move on to talking about The Last of Us. I'm sorry, the latest episode of The Last of Us. And then the series finale, three-part Andor, where we also, well, and it was weird. We're going to talk about this later, but like they tried to say that it was an after credit scene, and it wasn't an after credit scene. To me, it was definitely like an after moment, but it wasn't. To me, it was part of the show. But we'll talk about that later.
The ending?
The very end, the last person we see.
I wouldn't call that an after credit scene.
Oh,
if,
I
if
I agree with you. You can understand my issue when I said when all of a sudden I see on my feed pop up saying, and the after credit scene left fans wanting more, and I'm like, I watched it and I went through it again and was like,
as I specifically sat there through the
oh,
through
I did,
through it. I'm
oh, I
like,
did too.
I
Oh no, I very much did
didn't
too.
realize people were calling it an after credit scene. That's people have a weird definition of after credit scene apparently.
Correct. I mean, to me, I would argue that if anything, it was like the last scene, which is fine, but like that's not. Those are two very different things. So I wait.
Typically,
Granted,
after
I
credit scenes come after the credits.
I'll even take mid. Like I'll even take it. I'll allow them to say after credit scene if it's in the middle of the credits. Like
Yeah,
I will allow that. But like not
because
an
it's
after
after
credit.
credits. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's after some credits exactly. But yeah. So we're gonna
anyways,
get.
we'll rant on that later.
No, I was just very. So my whole thing was I was expecting something that didn't exist,
Yeah,
and so I'm not gonna say I was disappointed, but I just was like, oh, okay, people are just stupid. Because when I finally read the article, I was like, that's what it was. I go, I already saw that. So anyway, Superman trailer. So we get a little bit more of kind of what's going on in the world,
I think we
which
got a lot more. I
no,
think
we painted. Well, I'll say it this way: we painted a picture of a world that I was not prepared for. Explains a lot of what we saw in the first trailer, for sure. Or it
absolutely.
well,
Oh,
I don't want to say explains. It definitely gave a lot more context, for sure.
absolutely. Like literally everyone is hunting down Superman in this, and it's.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we got confirmation 100% that Lois Lane does know who
I was
Superman
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Well, Scott got his answer now." I'm glad
Yeah,
that.
to be fair, it's not like it was a big deal that we needed to know before the movie came out. But I was just curious,
No,
and
yeah, I mean,
now there's no question.
it's definitely a weird thing having a Superman movie where Lois actually knows Superman
Right from the get go.
immediately. So I understand where you're coming from with that, but the only reason I was like, "Oh, they already
Because
do know," is
this is
because
an
it's
established
established.
universe. But
So
I here's the thing, I 100% get it, but I think we can agree that it was kind of left ambiguous until this very trailer.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't even say that. It just wasn't touched upon. I'll say it that way
no,
because I think
yeah.
that's a better representation.
Um,
Um,
I
but
love the chemistry that they showed together already. I don't know if you heard, but apparently that was their audition.
oh, that I did not know.
Yeah,
That
that scene was their the interview was their audition, and they
that was
had
perfect.
it was so good, and it just more it described what the conflict that Superman has to go through in the traditional sense, you know, to be the good guy while also being the hero and like doing what's right while it's not necessarily what people want.
Because the other thing too is he considered American?
Yep.
Because like that's a whole another issue too. Because it's like, and that I have to say is like this. Not that I had any doubts of this movie to begin with, but we can definitely agree that this
I mean,
movie. No. We can agree that this movie was going to set the tone of this new universe.
oh yeah, no. This movie is setting the tone. I was more commenting on the fact that you were saying that you didn't have any doubts in this movie. You've been very vocal about your doubts on this movie.
No.
So
What I mean is like I should have phrased it better, but my whole point I'm making is like I had some doubts because of just how they were showing things,
yeah,
and then this trailer, anything I had a concern about is gone. Like actually, almost quite legitimately everything, um, even crypto. So like, granted, crypto was kind of resolved in the first trailer, but you get my point.
hmm
Um,
this one just made crypto so much even so much better. I
Oh,
like
agreed.
they did. Oh my god, this trailer was so good. I when I sent it to you, I was just like, I was fanboying so bad. It was
I mean,
it
like I said, the one thing I will say that is still a potential issue, and we've discussed this before,
the characters.
the amount of characters. That's
Hmm.
it. That's it.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say. However, I will say it doesn't seem to be as bad or as much of an issue based on what I'm seeing in this trailer, because
I
they seem to
think
be
yeah.
Lex's people.
I for the most part. Obviously, the Justice League is not, but
No, no, but
um.
I count them separate. They're their own thing. And I mean, realistically, a Green Lantern is a Green Lantern, and a
Mhm.
Hawk Girl is a Hawk Girl.
I,
Again, I'm not saying that that's enough. I'm just saying like we do know enough of them.
I mean, I think it's interesting that this movie already showed. For the most part, we know who most of these characters are, and
I
it
don't know the engineer, so the engineer
yeah.
was somebody new.
Um.
But again, I'm also not as heavily into DC as other people.
No. I understand that. I mean, I knew who she was, but I still had to look her up to make sure that I was correct.
Okay. Again,
But
she was the. I think she was the only one that I didn't know who they were.
technically, there should have been one more because they are an original character.
Oh, was it the guy that was in the fight with them in that point when they break in, or no? Which one was?
It's the guy. It was the guy in the full suit, full armor suit that was punching Superman.
Oh, isn't that the thought? Oh, I thought. Oh, okay, so sorry.
Well,
I thought that was somebody else.
who do you think it was?
I thought it was Ultraman.
No, that it's supposed to his name is supposed to it's supposed to be the Hammer of Bolivia.
Oh, okay.
Um, Ultraman is in the all black suit.
Oh, you know what? To be fair, I don't think I paid attention enough to really like distinguish between the two.
In this trailer they did show they actually showed the full black suit with the U, so it was like that was 100% confirmed. Like it is Ultraman. Um,
Yeah, I think
and
it's
I
Ultraman.
agree. When I was going through it, when the trailer was first showing, I was like, "Oh, is this supposed to be like Ultraman in like battle armor or something?" But then I was doing more digging, and I was like, "Nope, it is the Hammer of Bolivia, and he is an original character for this movie." And it makes sense because the movie really started with the war in Bolivia, which is a famous, it's a popular DC city. It's fictional, but they visit it uh, many times in the comics.
And obviously, he stopped a war there, and now he's facing repercussions for.
Yep. But I was gonna say was I think we are seeing four separate factions in a sense in this movie right from the rip from this trailer. We have
Lex Luthor's side. We have
yep
the international Justice League.
Justice League International, but
Oh, close enough.
yeah,
You gave me that.
I
Um,
just correcting
Superman,
you. Yep.
and then I would imagine it's the people, like the Bolivian, not like
No,
the rioters.
I
No,
mean
it's not both.
no. I was gonna say it's the actual U.S. government
Okay, okay.
because we have Rick Flag Senior. He's the government.
No, that's you know what? That's fair.
You kind of tied
I
them with Lex.
I know. I kind of tied them with like in my mind as the people. Again,
Oh,
I understand it's different. No, no, meaning like in my mind it was like the human race.
oh, like
But
the. I mean,
no, I know it's an argument. I understand that, but mentally that's where I put it. But no, no, I get that. No,
um,
I would never put it with Lex. Lex is his own separate thing.
yeah, that's for sure.
I would never do that. I mean,
I go ahead.
I didn't like. No, I was just gonna say there was nothing I didn't like about it. I mean, I even loved um
The
what's his
smack.
name? Literally, Guy Gardner just being like, and then you just see the massive green hand going.
Yep, I loved that. I loved seeing that, and I was as soon as I saw that, I was like, I feel like that's going to cause an uproar online, and it kind of did. But I mean,
But it fits for his character. It fits for him being a wielder of the Green Lantern ring.
well, no,
Plus,
I was actually saying like people were going to be upset because they were saying because normally most people think of Green Lantern and his projectiles as coming out of the ring, and the hand didn't come out of the ring; it just appeared.
well, um, I don't know if you know this, but Kyle Rayner has the ability to do that.
I mean, all lanterns have the ability to do it.
No, I know, but I mean, like, but it's weird because it's like I'll say it this way. Yes, you're correct, but you have to think of it that way. Because if you only think of it with your ring, it comes out of your ring.
Oh well, yeah. I
It's like
mean,
it's like
yeah.
the most it's like the most bizarre, dumb thing to ever say
I
come
mean,
out of my mouth.
no,
But
I
it's
mean
like
that's the thing about the Green Lantern is everyone always the Lantern powers in general, because I mean obviously we have the other different colors as well,
no,
but
no,
it's
they're all the
the
same
the
in this
the
sense. In this
rings the
sense,
rings power comes from your imagination. So
yes,
if like we've seen many times where a Green Lantern forms a battle suit and they're shooting projectiles, those projectiles aren't connected to the battle suit. They are flying through said space to attack the target. Like,
correct. So like that didn't. I mean, honestly, that was the least bothering
no,
thing.
I mean it didn't bother me. I'm
Um,
just
I do
as soon as
think
I
though
saw it, knew that it was going to cause a
it looked like the constructs are gonna be translucent
yeah.
slightly, which I find to be an interesting choice. Not in a bad choice. I don't want to say it's a bad in any way because it's not. I just thought that was interesting.
I
Um,
mean, in most media, the constructs are translucent. It's just whatever.
no, but I know, but I think we could agree that it for live action, that's not an easy thing to do.
That's fair. Yeah,
It probably would have. I'm not saying yes, it would have, but I'm saying I wonder if it would have been easier, maybe back in the day, to have just made it straight green,
yeah.
meaning like no translucent.
No, that's I mean
Um,
definitely,
but
absolutely.
anyway, minus that.
Um,
Still
I
looking good. I know. Wait.
I loved the actor who's playing Lex Luthor. What we saw of him so far, he
Yeah,
looks like he is going to nail that role.
he again, any concerns I had were washed away in this trailer because he legitimately just he walked with such like you peons deal with each other. I got a business to take care of, and like that is so Lex. It's disgusting, and I love it. I hate it, but I love it.
Oh yeah.
Like so well done. Again, this is only a snippet, so I'm hoping that this continues. But it looks like he's definitely one who is very much comic book accurate in the sense of like his attitude in this sense.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, like you said, it's very much Lex Luthor. He
Yeah,
is
yeah.
very much embracing this role.
I immediately felt Lex Luthor
Yeah,
immediately.
and I love the like the he looked like he can stand up to Superman. Like it's not just like oh he's playing games with Superman like how he was in like in the past with uh
Batman
in
versus Superman.
yeah Batman versus Superman with that
We'll
Lex
say it
Luthor.
that way because it's easier.
Yeah.
I will have to say I I I don't want to phrase this because I don't want to insult you. It's not so much I think physically he could do it. I
Eh,
think I think I agree with you though. No. What I mean is like mentally, he's not afraid to go like
yeah,
nose to nose,
he's
right up to Superman's face, being like, "Man, I own you. this is my world. Back off."
yep. And no,
That's just my thing.
this trailer was just so incredible with the fact like I said, just it showed gave us what we're expecting out of this movie. Superman stopped the war. He's and I love the fact that they just came out and was like it we're going back to what the roots of Superman was, where doing good for the right reason
Yep.
and uh not being afraid to do it. Like he's in
Did we see both his parents or just his dad?
we saw both. He was in the house and
Okay, okay,
his
no,
mom
no.
goes I want
Yep,
to get your
that's
boots
right.
and I'll clean them.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I just remember the dad's part being significantly longer.
Yep.
I just
And
I
I
wanted to make sure I didn't
already
forget.
loved seeing them because they're actually the classic Superman parents were like giving him hope instead of making him hide who he is. Like they're saying like you are good, you need to go do good, not hide who you are because the world is going to be afraid of you. I this is
This gives me, and again, I'm in the middle of watching it. Gives me Smallville vibes in
uh,
the sense of the parents. No, no, the
yeah.
parents because the parents. Although I will admit, like the parents in Smallville are trying to get him to not use his powers too much, but again, he also doesn't control them yet.
Hmm.
Where I feel like, especially, granted, I'm only 3 seasons in. They're now more like Clark. You need to do this. You
Yeah.
need to save these people. Where I feel like this is the kind of same vibe I'm getting in the sense of the family's like, this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to be, a harbinger of peace, or however you want to phrase it.
Oh no, I think that's a great way to phrase it.
Um,
Um,
but yeah, your
Do you see
Dark
a
Vader.
guest? Yeah.
No. I've been hearing the guest. I've been
I've
hearing the
been
guest.
hearing the guest. She
Whining very much so.
she was outside the door because I have the door
Mhm.
shut, and she was whining and scratching at the door. So Steph let her in, and as soon as she closed the door, she looks at the door and starts whining immediately. I'm like, you better make up your mind.
Well, I think that's the funny thing too. Dogs are just like that. They don't want to not have the option, which I just find to be so funny.
The funny thing is that she's normally fine. Like once you lock her, put her in the office with me, she's fine. Uh,
This is the first time. No, this is the first time I've ever heard her.
it's
Mostly, what I
because
heard is like her shaking.
yeah, well, there's a toy on the desk that we took away from her, and she wants it back.
Oh,
and
that's
she's
how
not
you can
supposed
punish her.
and she's not supposed to have this toy.
And you still have it in sight. She can smell it.
I apologize. Anyways,
No, no, you
trailer looks amazing.
no.
Cannot wait. This just hyped me
Honestly,
up so much more.
honestly, it 100% does. Ironheart. Let's move on to that.
Let's move on to Ironheart. You can start
I'm,
giving your reaction, and I'm gonna
I'm a
try to
little.
get her out.
All right, no problem. I'm a little shocked with what they showed in this trailer. I'm not gonna lie to you. What I got out of this was actually like a hint of what I was expecting, like arcade entrance to be like, in the sense of like having like a death trap and you trying to escape it. However, this is how, excuse me, the Hood is trying to recruit Riri, and I don't know. I just feel kind of weird about it. I guess it makes sense. I mean, I'll say this: if it's her character, it's just weird in the sense of like it's not what I'm expecting. I mean, we've talked about this. The Hood is not the villain I think of when I think of Riri Williams.
Yeah,
I'm expecting somebody with the same level of intelligence. I'm not expecting a supernatural possessed cloak. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, Going after her. Also, I don't know who the other guy is because there's three people. It's the Hood, it's Riri, and this Hispanic guy who I do not know who it is.
Oh,
Now, did you watch the trailer with your wife Stephanie?
I did not. No.
Okay. Well, the guy who plays the Hood was in Hamilton.
Oh,
Um,
she tends to not watch trailers because she doesn't want to be spoiled. She thinks trailers are too.
I
Which
would show her.
yeah I
I would say show her a photo of him because I don't think that ruins anything. Because I think it appears to be he's like seen immediately.
mm,
Um, I do like the idea of her wanting her genius to be shown.
yeah no I did like
Which
that.
I do not hate. I love the arrogance because I hate saying it this way, but it's the younger generation, in the sense of she wants all this recognition for stuff that she has done but can't prove that she did.
Mm, yeah,
Like all the stuff in Wakanda, she
yeah.
can't even really mention what happened.
Absolutely no. They were saying that she wants to be iconic, like and
Agreed. And I think what's weird is, and I think it's making her arrogant, which I think in a way she's supposed to be.
mhm,
And to be fair, every genius has been.
yeah, yeah.
There's not been a single one. I mean, Tony Stark knew
I was
how,
about to say look
self,
at Tony Stark.
and that's her idol. Realistically,
Yeah,
although it's not specifically her idol, in the comics it is. In this, I don't think it is.
I mean
But
she's building her suits based off of him, so
I
I
would
mean,
argue no, no, but that's kind of my point where I would still, although they're not specifically stating it, I would argue it is because she creates the power suit.
yeah, they're
I don't
making
even
it
want to call it.
blatantly obvious.
No, I
um,
know, but I'm saying like it's not like you know what I'm saying.
it's not written like they didn't write it on a piece of paper and said, "Hey, this is my idol," but they're making it as obvious as possible.
You know what I didn't see in this trailer, Mike? You know who I did see?
Yeah, I did. I'm watching this trailer. I'm like, Scott's gonna be mad.
No, you know why I'm really mad is because this is the first time they're saying like this is the first time I think they've actually stated. Didn't they? Did they confirm he's in it?
Okay, so they never officially came out and confirmed it. Marvel never
Ah,
confirmed it,
so it
but
doesn't
no,
exist.
but
He doesn't.
there was a casting leak that other people confirmed. Like
Well, he's been casted as Mephisto for like 20 years at this point. It feels
this.
like.
So here's the thing: is I was doing some digging, and this trailer released at D23 a while ago. So
Oh,
like,
yeah?
yeah, like
Why is this the first time we saw it?
because they keep postponing this show. Apparently, the show has been
Oh,
written and
duh.
finished for a long
No,
time.
we did know this because it kept getting pushed back. Because
Yep.
originally it was supposed to be a movie.
Yep.
It was originally a movie, and then no, no, that's not true. That's
Oh
not
no no
true.
no, that was a different.
I'm thinking of Armor Wars.
Yes,
But it
that's
was
it.
in the same. But it was in the
But it
same
was in the
family in the
same.
sense
Yep.
because it was a bunch of them that were all supposed to come out, and then it got postponed,
Hmm.
and then postponed, and then is it happening?
Yep.
Now it's happening.
I was watching a video of people that were in attendance at D23 when this trailer show first aired, and they said this happened 4 years ago. So like this show has been ready for a long time, and they just
I
kept
would imagine they still had to film a few things. I would imagine
probably.
just because of
It,
changes and stuff
yeah,
like that.
but the
Um,
main actress got older. I mean,
I mean, also true. But
but
I wonder though, because of what age she is now, she might not have had to have done anything crazy.
true.
But anyway, that being said, um, no. So I do have to say, like, it looks good. It looks like she's realizing that this guy isn't a good guy. She's following the wrong guy, and then
Hmm.
she has to fight him. My issue is I just don't understand her fighting him.
It's
And
two
I'm
very different
Yeah, it's like
things. Yeah.
to me, it's like Iron Man having a fourth movie with Loki as his villain, or the Enchantress, where it's like okay, but it doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This is how I'm feeling right now.
I think.
Unless they now they could be hiding another villain, and I don't mean Mephisto, because that would make less sense. No offense.
I mean, I said this from the beginning. As soon as we said Mephisto, I was like, this one just doesn't like make sense to me. I mean,
Well,
obviously,
I said it. I said it when we first found out it was the Hood. I said it didn't make sense.
yeah,
Because I'm like, he's a supernatural. Like he's a. I mean, you saw him in What If. It's him.
yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah.
granted, it's more modern, where he's like, he's a tech savvy, I guess, which I mean does fit. I mean, he is sort of like that.
Hmm.
But I think the part that bothers me is like his his thing is supernatural, not just technology. And I
Yeah.
think that's what, like, literally demonic energy.
Hmm.
I mean, his stuff is possessed by a demon. Granted, in the comics, it is not Mephisto, and supposedly it's Mephisto in the show. Supposedly. I don't believe it, which means it's true.
Scott does not think Mephisto is in this show, so that means he's going to appear. That
He's
is
been Mephisto was supposed to have come out since 2021 on WandaVision, and I've been pissed ever since.
every MCU project. Is it Mephisto? Nope.
No, that's not true. I've not said it to every single one. However, I have said it to every single one that it would fit. I
And
think
the
I said
one
it.
that doesn't fit is the one that is going to be in.
I've said it for WandaVision. I've said it for Agatha all along. I have said it for Werewolf at Night. Actually, I did say
You
it
said
there.
it for even though it's technically not MCU, you said it for Hit Monkey.
No, I did. Although you're right, it's technically not MCU, but I definitely did say it there.
Yep.
I think I even said I said a possibility for Multiverse of Madness, I believe, as well.
I kind of remember you mentioning that. You might have.
It definitely I think what I said was it was definitely not as prominent as the rest of them, because I said the focus is going to be her and not him,
Mhm,
which I mean either way I wasn't wrong.
mhm.
Except he didn't exist. So although Agatha we get him announced, we get
We
him
got the
by
name drop.
name,
We got the name drop.
but we also get the fact that he has an avatar.
Uh-huh.
That's another factor that's huge, because that also leads to the fact that the Hood could be his avatar,
Yeah.
which is a whole nother thing. Anyway, before I get furious,
Anyways, my thoughts on this. I like this.
I'm actually curious what you have to say, because I have more concerns. Although visually it looked great, visually it looked good.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the trailer. I thought it was a good trailer. It
Uh-huh.
the problem, like while watching it though, I just didn't really like. I didn't really feel anything for it. So it was like, this is
I kind
like,
of didn't. I guess the best way to describe it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe this isn't how you felt, but I felt like I don't know. I felt like there needed to be more, um, or it just because it didn't feel like enough.
yeah, it kind of just felt like, okay, this is she. I don't know what, like, it.
I didn't feel conflict. Is that weird to say? I didn't
Yeah,
feel conflict.
no, it just, I mean, now to be honest, and this is going to be a totally unfair thing, is because I saw this after Superman. So
Uh-huh.
like the hype for Superman, just like watching this, then after it's like okay,
No, no, no. So I will agree with you on that one, but take it from somebody who saw it like literally like at the end of the week.
yeah,
So there was a big gap in time between seeing Superman and this one. I think for me, and maybe this is because I'm more of a Marvel fan than you, and I'm not saying you're not one. I'm just saying I'm more.
I get it.
I froze a little bit. Um, so the big thing there is just the fact of she. I think personality wise, they've got her down.
I think the actress plays her really
Oh
well.
no, no. Like how they have her played is not my issue.
Yep.
I think this storyline is not. And
Yeah,
again, I'm giving it a chance. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna. But right now, it's not making sense to me because I'm getting too much technology and supernatural, and the
yeah,
two don't mix, in my opinion,
yeah.
unless it's a group effort, and I don't see a group.
One of the things that is in the step negative for me is that they're dropping the first 3 episodes on the premiere, and it's only 6 episodes. So
Oh, is it only six?
yeah, so this is going to be
So you
yeah,
basically get the half show right away.
half the show is gone, and so like in my head, it's like Marvel is just releasing it just to release it,
Well,
and
I think they're releasing it for because they I think they want Armor Wars out because Armor Wars is supposed to lead into something.
I've been seeing a lot of things saying that she is an integral part in Doomsday. So
No, no, I've heard that too, but I think the idea is they need
she's in Young
like
Avengers too, right?
I think she's supposed to be, but I don't know if we actually got a roster.
Well, no, no, no. I'm just saying, like in the comics, she is part of Young Avengers.
Oh, she's been a part of like the regular Avengers, the Young
Okay.
Avengers. I think she's been the West Coast Avengers at one point, which is ironic because she's on the East Coast. Don't ask questions. I
uh,
don't even get me started. Welcome to Marvel and the rosters of the Avengers. No, she's definitely been a part of the new Avengers at one point. Actually, technically I don't think the new Avengers existed in the comics in the way you think it is. I think it was the Avengers Academy, which is what would be considered the what we have as the new Avengers now.
mm,
Same concept. It doesn't change much, but you get my point.
yeah.
And it would have a roster very similar to what we're expecting from the new Avengers,
Okay.
or the Young Avengers. Sorry, the Young Avengers. My apologies. The new Avengers is something else. Um, yeah. So I do like the guy playing the Hood. I think it looks pretty well. Um, like I feel like he's a manipulator. I mean, I don't know how much you heard about me talking about it in the beginning, but the opening scene gave me more arcade vibes than Hood
Yeah, I
vibes.
did hear that. Yep.
But because like to me, like for concept for you, arcade is like if the Riddler and the Joker combined. Um, and what I mean by that is like making death traps that you could possibly get out of,
Mm.
but they're death traps, and so there's less of a riddle and more of a I'm gonna have fun with this.
I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, it's Jigsaw met the MCU."
Well, there is a Jigsaw in the MCU, which is even funnier. You met him.
I did.
Um,
I was, you knew. Is his name Jigsaw? I'm not talking about the guy from the MCU. I'm talking about from Saw. Is his name Jigsaw?
yeah.
Is okay.
Well, no, there was also a Jigsaw in. I mean, from Punisher.
Oh no, no, I know,
Uh,
I know. But I just didn't remember if Jigsaw was the guy from Saw. If I was just
yes, no,
mixing
you're
it up.
correct. You're correct.
Um,
Well,
but no, I
technically,
mean, I
it's
liked.
like it's the person behind the mask,
uh,
but it's it.
Yeah,
You know who it is.
yep. No, but I mean, the suit looked awesome. It was very. It was like I love going back to the actual putting the suit on instead of like what they did with the nanites. How they were changing it over to the it looked more practical.
But
Um,
I'm gonna stop you there for a minute just because I want to make it clear. Like the difference between Riri and Tony Stark is Tony Stark couldn't stop building because of his mental health disorders,
yep.
where she has other issues. Granted, mostly arrogance. Mostly arrogance. She won't build a new suit until this one has a problem,
hmm
and an obvious problem.
Don't fix what ain't broke. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not gonna just go out of her way and just keep
Yeah.
building and building and building.
But I mean, I liked the suit. I thought the suit looked great. The scenes looked pretty good. I'm not gonna,
Yeah, I mean they want to make it different than Iron Man, which I get. And to be fair, I mean realistically, I know this is gonna sound weird to say, but everyone's suit is supposed to look different,
Mm,
and like realistically, every single one kind of looks like Iron Man. This is the one that doesn't look like Iron Man, which makes it her own thing, which I like.
yeah,
Um, it's not quite what I was expecting in the sense of it's a lot more curves, but it doesn't like it doesn't ruin anything in my opinion.
no,
And I do agree with you. I do like the assembly of the suit
mm.
more than just it being
it,
there.
it morphs onto him. Like I
Yeah, no, I agree. 100% I agree. But definitely just a thought process in that where it's just very nice to see.
it's
But it
kind of,
also shows.
oh, yeah,
I do have to say too. It also shows the technology gap between Tony Stark and Riri, where she's still very intelligent. She's well above most people,
yeah.
but he's a whole nother level. She could definitely get there without a problem. I'm just stating she's not there yet.
I
But
mean,
she's also literally,
I was gonna say he's a lot older than her, so I
but
mean,
he also has the funds that she doesn't have.
and that too.
She's building this stuff like Peter Parker,
Yeah, yep, that's true.
and I give her a lot more credit because of that.
Yeah,
Granted, you could argue that technically his first one was like that, and it was, but it wasn't anywhere as advanced as the ones we've seen all these other people
yeah.
make.
Um, no,
I
absolutely.
loved her. So yeah, I definitely have to say like I love the character. She's so arrogant, and I love her because of it. And I also love the family dynamic she has, where it's like, are you that stupid thinking you would work with this guy? And I just love that because it's like her arrogance is getting the best of her,
hmm
which is, I mean, to be fair, shouldn't be all that shocking. But that's all we need to say for that. Wait, do we actually know when it officially airs? I'll look it up right now.
June 24th, I think.
Really?
That I was
Oh,
about to say, like, it's crazy to think that this is the first trailer for it, and it comes out next month.
I know. June
I
24th. You're correct.
I know it was nice. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, no,
like
no, I
this.
know.
This
We've
is
talked about this. We've
this is
talked about this
why
before.
I'm saying, like, I think this is just like Marvel just releasing it, and they don't really have much hope in it. Because I mean, I've been seeing so many people talk about this. Is that they released this trailer on the same day that Superman released. They're dumping 3 episodes right away on the six when it's only 6 episodes. Uh,
That's kind of the bummer for me, but I kind of agree with you where it's like it makes me feel like what they're basically doing is this is a filler spot that they
yeah,
had already planned to put this out, and like the other shows are coming out the following month to kind of build this up.
yeah.
Um, I mean,
But
it's what it is.
like I said, I'm like just neutral
I
to
mean,
it.
already it looks better than Secret Wars,
Oh, I mean,
but to
everything is
be
better than
fair, like
Secret Wars.
what
No, Secret Invasion. Secret
Secret
Invasion.
Invasion. Sorry, so you're right. Secret War is something else. Secret Invasion, yes. But we say that, Mike, and yet we could be astonished by something else
I
later.
mean, we could be, but I think Marvel. Hope Marvel learned its lesson as it
I
moved past this.
I will say this. I think they did and are trying to adjust so it doesn't happen again.
hmm
But I definitely don't think this is going to be their best work. This show.
No, it's
Um,
gonna be
based on a
okay.
lot of things, but I mean, definitely just that. Like I said, I do love that she's back at MIT, all that stuff, and I just love how they're like, you're a genius among geniuses. Get over it.
hmm
Um, but yes, let us move on to the Last of Us latest episode. This episode, how do I want to phrase this? Well, it was very different than how you described the game to be, Mike.
hmm Yeah.
Um, I,
I was,
I
I'm sitting here going like, okay, all right, we're doing this. Okay.
I watched it and I went, everything that Mike described happened, but not anywhere close to how he described it.
Nope.
Um, okay, because I'm like, well, the gas mask. I was like, there was never a gas mask, and
hmm
I'm like, she's just down there to kill the girl. And granted, she did. I'm assuming.
They actually never specify in the game, but I'm assuming she did.
Well, at the
Uh,
very least, she dies regardless. Let's be
she
honest.
yeah, she becomes infected. I think she did put her out of her misery, but they never actually specify. In the game, all they
So,
said was
can
I
I ask
made
you a
her
question?
talk.
When
Sure.
they're in the spore area,
hmm
can there be creatures that attack you, or
In the
is it
game, yes. The
okay?
fact that
Because it just
as fact the in the show, the fact that the creatures were like
Attached to the wall.
attached to the wall. Yes, that's a thing in the game, but when they get into that spot, they are attacked by a horde. Um,
No, that's right. I think the reason why I ask is because like in my mind it's like they only need the spores at that
yeah.
point. So like they wouldn't waste their because if they're smart, you know what I mean? I'm putting that in quotes.
Well,
They wouldn't need well, you get my point of making. They wouldn't need to have
my headphones are dying. I'm changing the battery, just so you know.
okay. So like the idea is having all of them all at once. But anyway, the other thing too was just seeing that scene in general, just seeing it literally look like something I would see out of Alice in Wonderland, which is just the fact of like all the different colors, but then also like the 3D texture of it all, where we get to see like all of them kind of blend together in a weird like mosaic type art. That I definitely did like. I do have to say, I thought that was kind of cool.
What part did you think was cool?
So I was talking about how like the way the fungus was like the literally the architecture. I thought
Oh
it was
yeah.
kind of cool because it gave me like Alice in Wonderland land vibes,
Hmm.
where it was like multicolored, it was 3D, it was beautiful, but also terrifying at the
Yeah.
same time.
I think that was something that the show has been missing because that's an integral thing that happens in the game where it's like the fungus takes over the areas that are controlled by the infected. Um,
Yeah, we definitely haven't seen this until now,
yeah.
at least in the show. And they did a great job with it, in my opinion, in this, because the way it makes it seem from somebody who has not played the game,
Hmm.
the way it looks, right, is now that they have the spores, they're using the hosts
Pass it along. Yep.
to pass the to make the spores go everywhere, which I do like. I
Yeah.
do like.
No. Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, I also thought it was weird that she randomly gets what's her name gets shot by an arrow, and I'm like, well, okay, well,
You know, so
does that
so
happen in game?
no. So that irked me because as soon as so in the game when in the game Dina
I mean,
cannot.
at this point, tell me because it might not happen. At
No,
this
no,
point,
no.
I'm
I
just
know,
saying.
I know. That's why I'm just trying to process my thoughts.
Mike's
Dina,
like, I'm just pissed.
I mean, it's just like why? So in the game, Dina is basically incapacitated because she is so sick from pregnancy, and like I said, Ellie is pissed, but she gets over it. She ends up going off on her own when Dina finally tells her, and Dina stays behind at the movie theater. In the show, she goes with her and
Yeah,
gives Ellie the choice. In the game, Ellie is just like, "No, you're staying." Dina wanted to go, and she's like, "No, you will become. You're like, you are a hassle now. Like, I can't look after myself and you. And if you get sick in a fight, what's going to happen?" Um, so she stays behind, and when she stays behind, Ellie goes out and runs into Jesse. Whereas in this,
it's the opposite. Jesse
it's
actually saves them.
Jesse saves them. Jesse does save them in the game. He
No,
saves
I
her,
figured
but
I
a
figured
different
as much,
setup.
but it was I would imagine it wasn't the way it
And
was in
he
the
did
game.
not come. He did not go out with Tommy.
Tommy, because
Like I
Tommy was
said,
going by himself.
yes.
Yeah.
So while Ellie is going and looking for Tommy,
Hmm.
she gets shot by an arrow. And in the show, it was Dina, and that's what gets Dina to leave because she.
Which makes sense
um,
because you needed to get her out of there.
no, absolutely, but I'm like, what? Why are we making these weird decisions to change it? Like like these things aren't integral part of the show, like of the show or the game, whatever. But I'm sitting here going like, this just it seems like they're going on a weird way. You know what I mean?
I get your point, and I think we've talked about this many a times where
it's
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 like
like it's a different universe, so it's like similar things are happening but they're different. I get that.
yeah, and I think it's just it's how they want to do it because I feel like, and again, we've talked about this before, where I feel like they want to make it different enough where people who've played the games, it's
Yeah.
not like verbatim, which to be fair, I get because you don't want people to be like, oh, it's just another version of the game.
Well, the funny thing is that a lot of the times when it comes to games translating into movies and TV
They
shows,
don't do it right.
they don't do it right because they change things and the
But they
gamers are
change
like,
things so massively. I
yeah,
mean,
and they're like, I want it to stay the same.
Resident Evil all the movies and shows have never been based on like any
Oh
of
yeah,
the
yep, yep.
games. Period.
Hmm.
So like they've been based on the games broadly, but never any of the storylines have been
Yeah.
portrayed. Isn't
Um.
that weird to think about though? Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Like all the movies, granted, phenomenal series, like movie series. I mean, some better than others, but overall, it was a
Yeah.
success, right?
I mean, I think
But never technically based on any of the
I but
storylines in the game.
that's the big thing is they're taking the name and making it their own story, whereas in this case they're
No, you're
taking the
right.
game and saying, "Hey, this is the game."
No, maybe I'm not taking it that way, and but again, I also didn't play the game, so that's a huge factor
I
too.
mean, that's a big thing. This is your first experience with it, so
Correct, correct.
this is the first time you're
Because
watching
I
it.
haven't
Like,
even played Resident Evil.
yeah, I mean, it's like let me see. What's something that there was a time where I watched a movie that was based off a game, and then I watched the game. They played the game after, and I was like, "Oh, the movie's not bad," and I still liked the movie. But across the board, everyone's like, "The movie's terrible because it doesn't follow the game."
I know, and I feel like you're going down that road right now with
I
this show,
absolutely am.
and I'm a little concerned about it.
I
Um,
can't help it because it's just like
no, but remember how we discussed this?
here,
I think I was like, oh,
no.
maybe you
Here's
shouldn't have played the game. Maybe you
here's
should play the game.
here's the difference though.
Don't play the game.
I can still say
Don't play the game.
the show is decent.
No, it is. It is.
I'm just
But
not
it's also not
liking
perfect.
the changes.
That's fair, and I think it's also too fresh for you too. I think that's another factor too. Um, I don't know. I feel like if you would have played this game a year ago, right? A year and a half ago.
I played Halo years ago, and when they came out with the TV show, it was god
Oh,
awful.
but that was a whole different. That was a whole different ball game.
Oh, that's a whole different ball game.
Like
That's a different animal. Yeah.
even people who didn't play Halo didn't like it. That's a whole different faction. Right?
That was just bad.
You're not gonna hear me disagree.
um,
Um,
one of the other things that was kind of different that was different. They kept the chase scene with Ellie and I forget the girl's name that she was chasing from the
oh
Firefly.
yeah. I know who
Um,
you're talking about. I can't think of
yep,
her name.
they kept the chase
Abigail?
scene.
No, that's the other
No,
one.
that's the main one.
That's the
Um,
because I'm like she kept saying Abigail, but I'm like no, it's because that's
Abby.
who she was like. Abby, yes, but I meant you knew who
Um,
I meant though.
yeah, no, I did, but no,
Isn't
she
that disgusting?
so they so she snuck in. She held the gun to her. She got away. They ran through the building. Other fire or wolves then proceeded to follow them, trying to hunt her down, stop her. Um,
But they stop as soon as she goes down.
so what happened is that when the girl runs, she runs into a hole in the ground, and the hole in the ground is where the spores are. And Ellie catches up to her as the rest of the wolves are then catching up to them. So she takes the girl as a hostage and is like, "Don't shoot me, or you're gonna kill her." Ellie, knowing that she's immune, then proceeds to fall in the hole with the infected. And when they fall in the hole, the rest of the wolves get their gas mask on and follow them into it. And that's when the horde attacks. The girl then proceeds to get away, but because she's breathing in the spores, is having a coughing fit. Ellie gets away, hunts her down, and that's where we then proceed to find out that, as you know, that she knows what Joel actually did. Um, and they did that one a little bit different. The only thing that I didn't like about this episode is that like a thing that I legitimately didn't like was Bella Ramsey doesn't really come off as like intimidating.
I agree.
So like when she's trying to threaten the other girl, I was like I didn't really feel like she was scary. So I was like, that could have been a little bit better. This one and
So I took it again. I'm taking it very differently, where it's like she was trying to threaten her, and I get that. But in my mind, she's failing because
mhm.
she's, and I hate saying it. In my mind, it's like, granted, I know she's 19, but at the same time, she is to the world just a young woman.
Hmm.
And I hate saying it that way, but like to most people, that isn't intimidating.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she isn't deadly, and she could definitely kick my butt. I'm not saying
especially with a
what's
gun.
oh definitely, but I'm just saying. But my point I'm making is she could definitely kick my butt. But
Yeah.
if I'm stuck in a room with her, I'm less concerned than if I was in the room with Joel. You see
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But you get my point
Yeah.
I'm making.
Joel looks
Essentially,
psychotic, whereas her, it's just like, okay,
I
yeah.
mean, she's crazy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not thinking it
I
as
think
much.
I think also this might be a little bit biased in the terms of the game, me playing the game.
Mhm.
Ellie in the game is scary when she's pissed, whereas this Ellie is kind of just like, all right, she's mad, no big deal, just ignore her for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, like the 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 attitude is different. So it that's one of the only real that's the only real criticism I have of the episode. Aside, like the changing of stuff is like, okay, it's part of it. Whatever, I have my problems with it, but this was something that I like. The only thing that was like legitimately a concern for me. Um,
No, I get that. Because it is concerning in and of itself. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, it was alright. I mean, I definitely didn't hate it. There was nothing like awful about it. I do like seeing what are they called? Scars? No, what are they called?
the people,
Yeah.
yeah, the scars.
I was right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is where we act. So like the group of infected that was like the sneaking, that was in the game. Except Dina wasn't there. That Ellie was by herself.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, that
Can we also talk about Dina counting? That always
oh,
messes me up.
counting how many infected there were.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I don't hate
Um,
it. Like it makes sense. It's just weird. It's just weird.
not something you'd think about doing.
No, not at all.
um, but yeah, I think I that's like I said, that's kind of major differences between the game and the show, where like Dina is actually a lot more useful in the show versus the game. The game, she was just kind of like I won't say that she was just there, but like I said, in the show, she's counting how many infected there were, whereas in the game, she's just reacting and is a soldier.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that warehouse scene was in the game where we first saw the smart infected, I guess is the way to say it. Um,
I just saw a meme and I started cracking up because you'll get a kick out of this. It is actually relevant.
okay.
It is. It is. So it's showing that July 25th is when Fantastic Four comes out. July 2nd is when Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out, and then Superman is coming out on July 11th. And it's the scene in Man of Steel where the two Kryptonians are
Oh, I've seen
kicking
that.
Superman's butt,
Yeah.
and they're just beating him down. And so like the two people are Jurassic Park and Fantastic Four, and
Yeah.
Superman's getting his butt kicked. And I'm like, you know, I hate to be the bad news, but like Superman's gonna do. I mean, granted, I can't say he's gonna do better than Jurassic World, and hear me out on this because I'm not confident. Just in general, just because Jurassic World is its own thing.
You're getting defensive, and I haven't even said a word.
I know. Well, no, but like realistically, that doesn't mean he's gonna do like the movie's not gonna do bad. Like no Superman movie's ever done bad, and I just find this to be hilarious.
No, I know. I mean, in the actuality, like Superman is going to be the Superman is
He's gonna
this
be the
is the he's the movie of
I'll
the
tell you
summer.
then he's gonna be like if it was the opposite, like Superman beating the two of them up,
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, that makes sense
Yep.
because I don't think it's gonna be like him blowing everyone out of the water necessarily, but he's definitely not gonna be hurting.
Yeah. No. Superman is going to do the best of the three. Jurassic World.
Opening weekends.
I mean, it will definitely do better opening weekend, but I think overall it'll still do better than
No, I know, but I
all of them.
meant like technically, like the week that Fantastic Four comes out, it might not do as well as
Oh,
it had.
yeah,
You
yeah.
understand?
Now,
Right?
when you put it like that, yeah. I
That's
think
what I meant by that.
I think Jurassic World might come in second, and
I've heard like it looks really good, and
the
there's
trailer the
not,
trailers look good on that.
and it doesn't look,
Um,
it doesn't sound like it has a bad plot either. Like it looks like
no,
it's just like, oh, everything else before this sucked, and now we're here.
Yeah, and
I,
we're seeing like actual mutations. They were supposed to be getting legitimate abominations, I should say.
yeah, which
Um,
does make sense. But I apologize. So speaking of mutations, let's get back to The Last of Us.
I
Um,
mean, I think we're pretty much done talking about it, unless you have something else to throw in there.
oh no, no. So we can actually move on
We,
to
we
Andor, the series finale,
the
which
the
um
absolute greatest show ever created.
so
Like,
I'm gonna say something controversial, Mike, and don't get mad at me.
I'm already mad.
This was the only 3 episodes that I actually felt were a movie.
I agree.
Ah,
like,
oh, Mike's like, whoa.
no, because these three actually entirely flowed together.
I can't tell you where one ended and the next one began.
Like every like when one ended, the next one picked up right where that left off. Whereas the
Like
other ones
legitimately,
were
like
jumping around.
I blinked and it was there.
Yeah,
No, agreed. It jumped around. This one didn't. This one was straight up like we're just gonna do the next couple of months or a couple of weeks, like right now. And I'm like, I don't even think it was a couple of. I think it was like a couple of hours. Like
I
honestly.
mean, we're going with minutes. I mean, from the from the second episode to the third episode with the ISB breaching the building, like that was literally right
Oh
there.
my god! It just was so good.
No, they did a phenomenal job with these last 3 episodes. Everything coming together. Um, I actually felt something when Mon Mothma's husband was in the car and taking a drink, because like it's like, does he regret what happened? Is he fully with the Empire? Does he miss his wife? Like, obviously he's with some other woman in the car, but it's like you got that. I got that feeling where it's like he was upset.
No, I know. I think for me, it. I mean, I'll say
I
it this way.
completely
Like,
jumped, like randomly picked a
no, no,
random
no.
thing that was stuck
Yep.
in my head.
But I'm glad you bring it up because the reason why I asked you how you felt about the ending was because I don't hate it, and I want you to think I do. I don't know. I wasn't expecting this ending, in the sense of like we're now seeing where everyone is right before the beginning of Rogue One.
Yeah, I mean, this was leading up to Rogue One, so I
No,
mean,
no, no, no. I know, but I meant like I thought we were gonna see like the beginning of Rogue One,
uh,
and that's not what we
I
got.
know you were very on the kick, like, well, we're gonna see Jin, this is gonna
We could
happen,
have.
and
To be fair, we could have.
we could
But the
have,
way,
but
but to be fair, the way they did it, there's no way we could have,
no, yeah,
obviously. But that being said, it wasn't so far fetched that I would be wrong.
yeah. I mean, if they extended an extra 5 minutes to show the introduction of
Yeah,
Rogue One,
which
then
they probably
sure.
didn't want to pay her money for, which I get. And I can't blame them, especially for just a cameo. But
I
that
mean,
being
Rogue
said,
One is the #1 movie on Disney Plus right now, so
I know it's. I gotta watch it again because I don't remember how it starts officially.
no, I agree. As soon as this
Because
ended,
like as soon as
I
it
was
ended,
like,
I
I
was like,
have to.
I don't remember him being first. Why is this not? But it's because he comes later, but he was already en route to go there.
Mhm.
But anyway, I digress. Um,
Not really. It's like no, it was great.
well,
I knew Luthen was gonna die, but the
no, 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 I get it. Here's
way,
the thing: everything that happened, like I'll say this, I something had to happen to everyone because they weren't in the movie.
yep.
So like I knew something had to happen.
Hmm.
But Lutheran man, oh my god, that
The
was such a great way.
no him fighting till the end
No,
in
it was even
in a way.
before. It was even before that. It was even before that when he's talking to Kalila and he's like, "No, I'll go to the place and I'll
Oh,
send the message." It was that moment where I went, "He's pulling. He is sacrificing himself.
yep,
He's dead. He's
yep.
either." I go, he's either captured or he's dead or both,
Which
and
he was.
technically both.
Yeah.
But I was like,
And
"Oh my gosh!"
I love that.
I love the
I
interaction between him and Deidre.
I love the interaction. Absolutely love the interaction. I love the fact that Deidre screwed everything up by going into business for herself, and it caused everything to fall apart. And it is such classic Empire, and we've talked about this 100 times, where it's every person, they're a united front, but it's still every person for themselves. And even though she's sitting here saying, "I'm doing this for the good of the Empire," like
No, she had her own plans.
ISB was literally like, we had everything figured out and you decided to do your own thing, and it screwed everything up. I want to use such more colorful language, but I am restraining, and it keeps coming off as me mixing my words up.
there was one suicide I was not prepared for. That was her boss.
I did, yeah, no.
That one threw me off because I was like, what? What?
I don't,
What?
so as
Huh?
soon as the other
Huh?
guy came in and said that they're ready for him, and he said, "Can you give me a minute?" I'm like, he's offing himself.
Oh, no. Here's the thing. I knew that too, but I didn't know we were there.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I was like, what the hell?
And
So obviously, in his mind, he must have thought they were going to be blaming him for not only her, but also the other one for being a traitor.
everything, because it was all under his supervision. So if you can't control your people, you don't deserve to live.
Can we also talk about what he says to what's his name, though? Being like, this is the Empire. You're lucky it didn't get released earlier.
Yeah.
Like the information about the Death Star.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that is a bold statement. Not inaccurate, but a bold statement, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
I loved
And then we
Krennic.
also get.
I loved
We
seeing
also,
Krennic,
Krennic is.
the director of the Death Star,
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
the
He
one that
was
was poking Deidre in the head.
that one. Yeah, that messed with me completely. No, the other thing too for me was, um, when we get Klyla's backstory on how she learned, how she started
Oh
working
yeah.
with Lutheran.
Oh my god, that hit me so hard.
I wasn't
I
honestly.
love seeing Naboo.
Honestly, I wasn't prepared for it. Like I didn't want that.
No, it just
Um,
like the bond that they had. That even
immediate,
yeah, and
immediate,
just her
and
sitting there saying, "Are you my dad now?" And he's like, "When it
no, no,
suits
no,
us."
that's not, no, no, no. He goes, oh, so I'm your daughter now, and he goes, only when it suits me.
Well, yeah. Either way, yeah.
No, no, but it changes the picture a little bit. Also the fact that she was just as brutal as a kid as she was as an adult. Like there was no change. I
She,
think the
I,
argument would be she was smarter.
she's
And that's
smarter as she older, and this goes with the smarter. She's has more control.
no, no, I agree. But man, I also love the fact with the Empire's like there must have been a crew of at least 3 people, and it was just her.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wow, they really suck. But that was a great scene. She also gets out of there. Um,
Loved that hospital breach scene and saying goodbye to Luthen. Like that. Oh god, that was
and
so
how
good.
poetic that it was her that did it too. Like, ah,
Uh-huh.
like it needed it. Like everything was perfect. There was not a single thing.
That
Um,
she didn't even want to go with the alliance and
no,
throwing in Cassian's face like, "Oh, you left us as soon as you got the chance." And he's like, "I left to do bigger things." And Luthen couldn't put his pride behind him to fight with everyone else. Like, oh my god, it was so good. I There's so many good
no, it was
things that
so.
it's tough to just narrow it down.
But he also killed his informant too. That was the other
Yeah,
thing.
he did. He
We
did.
skipped over that. I got thrown off by that, and then I was just, but also not. Like I was and I wasn't. Like I get it, but like I was so surprised he did it in public. But
Yeah.
I guess at that point in his mind, cover was already blown.
Yeah, everything was screwed up. So, what harm is
Um,
it?
and is it K9 unit? What is the name? What is it?
Oh my god, I always forget. It's
I know they've
K.
been calling it the K9 unit, and I know that's not accurate.
I don't think it's K9.
I think there is a K and a 9 in it. However, I just don't think that's the only letters and numbers.
Uh
Um, I swear to God, if it might be.
K2SO.
Oh, there's no 9.
No, there is not.
Okay.
There's a 2. K2. That's what they've been calling him. K2.
Oh, that's what.
And
For
he
some
is
reason I thought
just as
K9.
funny as in Rogue One. When we first saw him get
Oh, as soon as
captured,
he, yeah, no, as soon as
when he
he
got
gets
captured
shot in the.
and he's like, "Do you mind not putting that gun if I didn't do
He's like, I'm
anything
sorry.
wrong to you?"
Did I offend you? If not, put it down. I
Yeah.
prefer it away from me. Thank you. And then
And I
also,
love his sass. Just absolutely love all of his sass.
I hope you realize we have broken 13 rules now.
14.
14. As he flips the switch. 14. It's like Jesus Christ. It was so funny. It's just, it was perfect. I also love them gambling together. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. He goes, statistically, this is the dumbest bet ever. Well, then bid it. I'm wondering what you're thinking of. Are you both trying to get your way with me? And I'm just like, oh
They
my
were
God.
they were playing so bad to stump him, and it was working. Like,
No, it 100% did. That's what made it even funnier. I
oh,
legitimately was like, they are messing with him because he's trying to think mathematically. Is there something he doesn't know?
Uh-huh.
Which is even funnier. I also love the rebellion not really liking Cassian.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, well, not even disliking Cassian. Like obviously they knew
They
he's
also
good.
hate Lutheran. I was kind of
Yes, they
that
don't
would threw
like
me off.
Luthen. They
He won't join us, and it's like, but he created you.
they
Does
did.
the
Yeah,
creator need to be there? Like, I hate saying it, but like,
I mean even still, like they wanted Saw Gerrera with them, and that guy was
we
so paranoid and messed up in the head. Like
we also get to see him after a year breathing in the fumes. He's got his oxygen mask.
oxygen mask.
I do like that. I do like that. No, I mean that was cool and everything else. I mean, I liked it. You know, Kayla, Klyla, sorry, Klyla gets back to the planet.
Mm,
They heal her and everything else, but then it's, excuse me, V takes her back to her planet.
yep.
So that's Naboo.
Yeah, that was Naboo. Yep. That's the first time we've seen Naboo in 20 years. So that was pretty awesome.
I
Um,
why do I feel like Naboo had a city on it,
what do you what do you mean?
like a futuristic city looking thing?
No, it did not. No, it was very classic, very classical kind of setting, like
Probably
royalty.
like stone-ish, like stone masonry. Like the buildings were not like they were more like castle to esque.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find a picture of
No,
Naboo.
because I remember playing it on Battlefront, like the good Battlefront games, the PlayStation, like PlayStation 2.
Uh huh.
And for whatever reason I remember it, but it must not have been like City. It must have been like the port
Oh, okay, maybe.
where I was. I mean,
Let me. Okay, let me. I got
um,
two pictures right here. I'll send the pictures to you, and I mean
overall, I mean, great. And then what we haven't talked about though is the end. So the end, we get to see everyone kind of
where
have
they
their
are.
story be done.
Yep.
And the biggest one is Bix is no longer pregnant apparently, and has had Cassian's son or child. I shouldn't say son. And Cassian we know is dead. So
Cassian did not forgive Bix for leaving him.
no, I know that.
Um,
Oh no, that is what I remember. Why do I think that looked different? That's interesting.
I wouldn't say that city, but
No, 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 no. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that is Naboo."
yeah,
And so I don't know, but you get my point. Like I think it was just the way it was played out game wise. But anyway,
yeah, possible. Um, it, but Bix. I'm seeing so many things online where people are saying that the child is going to be trained by Ray, and I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
also this takes place before Luke,
Yeah.
so she.
Well, this takes place leading up to Luke.
Well, all right. Let me rephrase it this way. Um, he would be the kid's older than Ray.
Yes, but technically, if he's untrained, Ray could train him. Doesn't matter really the age, but I'm not defending it. Believe me, I think it's a
No, you're defending
wild
it. No, I
theory.
get it. You're defending it.
But
I don't like your thought process on that one, but I know it's not your own. I'm just stating that
no, I'm saying like I know the traditional sense is you're supposed to be training younglings, but technically you can train anybody.
I guess so, but I would still expect you to be trained by somebody older. I don't know. That's just a me thing. I mean, name a time where a younger has trained somebody older.
Have you ever showed an older generation person to use a phone?
I meant in the Star Wars universe.
Anything that happens in the real world can happen in Star Wars, and
It was a
then some.
it was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, 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 far away.
You said too many fars. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, they added an extra one after the whole sequel series. You don't know that.
Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Before I get myself into more trouble. But no, overall, I mean, this was a phenomenal end. I'm more sad that it's over.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. I want more of this, and I can't have it now.
no,
And the writer for this show came out and was like, if you're gonna do anything Star Wars, because I remember telling you that overall the budget for Andor was almost $1 million, $1 billion,
It
uh,
was so worth it.
and it was worth it, and it was good. And he came out and said, he's like, if you're gonna do a Star Wars show, you can't cheap out on the budget. Like, you need money to make Star Wars.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You there. It depends on what the story is. And what I mean by that is, hear me out. It depends on location. Location matters. If you're not traveling, like if you're stuck on a planet.
I mean, sure, but I mean, in general, like, if
Oh,
you're
I'm not saying. Here's the thing. I agree with you that you still want to have the best stuff and everything else. But what I'm getting at is, you don't need a big budget if you're stuck on Tatooine, let's say. You know what
well,
I'm saying?
it depends on the type of show that you're telling too, because
That's also true. I'll
if
give you
if
that.
if if Andor started dipping into the Force and the lightsabers and stuff that needed like CGI and whatnot, you needed the almost $1 billion would have gone over $1 billion. So like that's what I'm getting at.
All
Like
right. No,
like
you're right.
for
I give you
example,
more.
the Acolyte. It. I mean, obviously, I liked the Acolyte, but it could have been
Oh,
that
how
much.
dare you?
That it could have been that much better if the budget matched what it needed. So I mean, like that's
You're
the
not
thing.
gonna. I can't disagree with you. I cannot disagree.
You have to be willing to commit, is basically what he said. Like, you can't half-ass it.
No, I get that point, and I think that's the big piece there, where it's like you need to go full in, and you can't like cut corners, and I get that,
Hmm.
because the idea is it's like one of the best ways we got a Chewbacca, we got a Wookiee Jedi, and then he gets killed instantly, where we didn't even get the fight scene. You know what
We
I'm
didn't
saying?
even
Like
see
it's
it.
like
Yeah, yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like cutting corners like that ruins things. But anyway, let us move on.
This is, oh, sorry, one last thing. This is also, I read, the only show to ever get a rating of 9.5 in in 5 episodes in a row.
Like ever or just Star Wars?
I believe it was ever.
It's fine. I'm just asking for
No, no,
more
no. Yep,
information.
yep. I remember seeing that it was the only show ever. It could have been Star Wars, but I believe it was any show that got 5 episodes in a row rated 9.5 or above.
Well, I mean, realistically, regardless, it's true either way. Meaning, like, if it's one, it's definitely also the other.
That's true. If it's
If
ever,
it's
then it's
also
definitely
the
Star
other,
Wars.
then it's also Star Wars too. No,
Well,
but
though, if it's Star Wars, doesn't necessarily mean
no,
ever.
no, that is also true. But you get my point I'm making. If it
Yeah.
is one of them, it's normally the other one too, depending on which one it is.
Yep.
Um, but no, you
But
got a point there.
anyways, we can continue to your character spotlight.
But no, it was so good. I just want to know what's next. But anyway, my character spotlight was somebody who was. So we know this character exists or will exist in the MCU. However, Funko Pop has demonstrated that we're going to be getting him earlier than we were expecting as a toddler. And this, my friends, is none other than Franklin Richards.
Oh, okay. I did hear about this.
Mike's like, I don't know.
Well, when
So,
you first told me about it, I didn't remember.
I had fun with it at this point because I thought it was funny because it popped up on my feed being like they ruined the plot of Fantastic Four, and I'm like, no, they didn't. And I read it and I was like, they definitely didn't. They
Yeah.
just showed that time passed. That's it.
Uh-huh.
Which would make sense. Which we kind of talked about too. That the idea was that time would pass.
She potentially had already given birth. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't imagine her going out there pregnant fighting. Um,
Depends on what the world needed.
I, I'm I'm saying it because it's the '60s, and Reed would not be happy with that, and man in charge in the '60s.
There are still some women that would whip their man, and I feel like Sue Storm was one of those women. Especially because as soon as in the trailer when they were telling him congrats, and they were like, "You're so screwed. You have no idea what you're doing."
I know, but I think in my mind it would not be just Reed; it would also be Ben and Johnny being like, "No, you got to protect. Like, we'll deal with this."
Okay, that'll give you. Yeah, that'll give you.
I do agree with you that she's definitely got Reed wrapped around her finger, literally and figuratively. Um,
Ha.
because I mean it's true. She's just swirling around. But
Anyways, talk
anyway,
about Franklin.
no, I don't want to talk about Franklin now. So Franklin is the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. obviously part of the renowned Fantastic Four. Big shocker there. He's a powerful reality warper. He's one of the most powerful beings in the universe, even at a young age. Put it this way, Franklin Richards was the reason Galactus was like, "Peace, I'm out. I'm scared of this kid,"
Huh.
and didn't eat Earth. Just letting you know.
Was he? Was it when he was a kid, or was it?
When he was, it just says young age, so I don't know if he was infant or toddler or young child, but
Okay,
he was definitely not teenager. He was
noted.
definitely young, young. I just don't have like an age number.
Noted.
Um, so he has godlike abilities to help restore the multiverse, because he's allowed to literally of worlds with incursions and collapses. He literally could just fix them
Hmm.
with ease. Although he wanted to enjoy life as a normal kid and not wanting to take on the responsibilities that came with such awesome powers. Yep, that's how it's phrased. Franklin secretly altered reality to pretend to be depowered after taking a stand against the alien Cormorant, removing his abilities to access his powers and memory of still having them, except one day a year. Franklin made everyone believe, including himself, that he was depowered, a depowered human mutant all along, down to the genetic level, forfeiting his mutant status, as well as revoking his Croatian, um, Croatian, Croatian citizenship in the process.
I,
It's the most recent place that mutants had to live.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm glad you know because it's like I'm trying to explain it. And I'm like, there we go.
It was in '97. Oh my god. Anyways,
Anyway, so Franklin has been around since 1968.
old.
So as we talked about, because he was actually mentioned in Agatha's character spotlight, he was actually entrusted by Reed and Sue, under Agatha's tutelage to watch him. Now, granted, she was watching him because she wanted to know what this kid's powers could be, and also maybe wanted him for herself. However, she fell in love with the boy and wanted nothing more than to help him. Um, and they were concerned about having Agatha be his nanny because, to be fair, both Reed Richards and Sue Storm did not know that Agatha was who she was. Meaning, like, they didn't know she was a powerful sorceress.
So because they didn't know that, they didn't trust her.
No, so it was because of that they didn't trust her to keep watching him because of all the bad stuff that was happening. So there was a lot of like stuff going on where Franklin was being taken again. Like, what do we do? And then all of a sudden, Agatha fixed the problem. She's like, I fixed it. And they're like, they didn't know it was her that fixed it. So they're like, well, we can't risk this again. Like, he's in such danger. And then she kind of is like, hey, by the way, I can do this.
Okay, I get it now.
So he's technically born as a mutant because although his parents were created, when he was born, it was a mutation in his body already.
He was
So by
born with it.
definition,
Yeah.
he's correct. So technically, he's considered a mutant. Um, he's taken on Ultron himself, literally at a very young age, which I find to be hilarious. Um, he's also, because of his powers, time and space gets a little weird. So we actually see him throughout the years come, like, get taken away and then come back as a completely older version of himself. So, like, somebody from an alternate reality will come and take him to train him and then take him back after he's like a teenager.
Hmm.
Um, just a fun fact for the kids. He's gone. He's gone by the name of Powerhouse at one point, which I just find to be funny. But one of the times he gets kidnapped is by the villain Onslaught. Now, do you know who Onslaught is?
Name sounds familiar, but I don't. It's not ringing a bell right now.
It's okay. It's when the consciousness and minds of both um, Magneto and Professor X are fused together, creating the being known as Onslaught. It's a villain.
I mean, I would never have guessed that with a name like that.
Yeah, also, I believe he has the powers of both of them combined, which is even scarier.
It would make sense.
No, no, it does, but also scarier. And his costume is literally like Magneto, but like as if he got combined as like a Megazord type thing. Like he's huge. No, but I mean like it's like the same design, but then it's like he's a mech almost.
No, I thought you were going to say like he looks like Magneto, but he's in a wheelchair. I was like,
No.
I'm like really?
One of my favorite things though, one of the storylines is he teams up with Man Thing, Howard the Duck, Alien Tana Nell, and the mutants Artie Middix and Leech. So he's embarking on a journey with through alternate realities, and what they find out during all of this is all the realities that they've seen are actually realities created by none other than Franklin himself using his powers,
Interesting.
and he didn't know it. I find that to be interesting because in the next note, he literally created a world, a universe, in the palm of his hands, put all the heroes inside of it, right? Gets stopped by a celestial saying, "You can't do this. You have to make a decision. You have to either kill this planet or kill Earth. You can't have both." And Franklin's like, "No, I refuse to do either." And then they fuse for a minute, and the guy's like, "You can keep both, but you got to put all the heroes back on regular Earth." And he's like, "Deal." And then it literally created what is known as Counter Earth
Okay.
because it literally it was Earth that he
Mhm.
created in
I
the
feel like
palm
I
of his
kind of
hands.
remember you mentioning this.
Yeah, I think we talked about this with High Evolutionary
Yeah.
because that's the original Counter Earth. Um, the other thing too is he has a sister who is Valerie Von Doom.
Oh.
She is the time dancing sister, claimed daughter of Susan Richards. It is unclear who the father is, although you can guess who the thought is based on the name.
Uh huh.
Alternate realities, man. Alternate realities.
Wow.
It got to the point where Franklin learned that his sister, he actually caused his sister to be transferred to another part of the multiverse because he apparently noticed her in the womb and got rid of her. Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I have to say that because he didn't know he did it. One of the big things here too was apparently Onslaught comes back because the idea is Onslaught dies, right? However, when Scarlet Witch uses her powers to depower countless mutants, um, it apparently because both Magneto and Professor X lose their powers, they then restore Onslaught because the two of them no longer exist. They then combine, excuse me, into the consciousness of Onslaught again because Marvel Comics don't ask questions. However, he's now determined to kill Franklin Richards and every other hero in existence, but wants him dead first, and attempts to brainwash. Actually, is successful in taking control of both Human Torch and Mister Fantastic, trying to take down Franklin Richards, but is stopped by none other than the Thing and Invisible Woman.
Hmm.
And because this universe is a little bit different, because Wanda created it in her own vision, he teams up with a woman named Ricky Bucky Barnes, who is exactly who you think it is. It's a female Bucky Barnes.
All right.
Yep, no, I got nothing better to tell you other than that for that piece. He's dealt with the Secret Invasion, which I thought was kind of cool, where he actually gets sent to the negative zone with his Uncle Ben, one of the only Uncle Bens who don't die and stay dead, and they're trying to get help to get out, and it's not very successful um, until he decides to manipulate reality and get himself out without a problem.
Eh,
It's just funny to me because it's like he really legitimately doesn't remember his powers until he uses them, and it's just hilarious to me because it's really what it all comes down to.
he's got so much power he can't keep track of it.
Well, no, he purposely makes it so he doesn't remember it, so he doesn't use it because his power he doesn't want to be that, which I
Interesting.
find to be incredible in and of itself. Um, one of the times he creates a pocket universe, and a mysterious imaginary friend appears who advises him and helps him how to use his powers. Not long afterwards, Human Torch seemingly dies at the hand of a nihilist. In order to save his family, the Fantastic Four disbanded and creates what becomes the Future Foundation, which you know. And apparently, because of this, we have the Interdimensional Council of Reeds. I don't know how much you know of this, but it is literally every Reed Richards from the entire multiverse together stopping threats.
You have mentioned this before, and it makes me think of the Flash CW TV show.
It, it makes me think of Rick and Morty.
Oh really? Oh yeah, that yeah, I know what one you're talking about.
Granted, to be fair, it is a parody of it, but
Yeah.
it's still funny. Anyway, so one of the big things is the multiversal collapse happens, where a lot of incursions happen, and the Illuminati tries to find numerous ways to save 616 from its destructions. From the destruction, one of their ideas consists of using a machine to access and harness the full measure of Franklin's latent powers to create a pocket universe that the inhabitants of Earth could relocate to. The plan did not succeed. Following the incident, Sue informed Reed that Franklin was under the impression that he had disappointed his father, and Reed replied, "I should never have done that. I should have never have asked." Shocking. Reed Richards does something he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
So the thought is that 616 is doomed because both Earth 616 and Earth 1610 is the final incursion. Franklin's father, Reed, I don't know why it's phrased that way, I do apologize, gathered every person he could upon the life raft, including members of the Future Foundation, Franklin, and the rest of his family. While the vessel approached the central point of the incursion, it suffered a hull breach that led to the deaths of Franklin, his family, um, the deaths of Franklin, his family, minus his father Reed, and members of the Future Foundation aboard. 8 years later, Reed gained the omnipotent powers of the Beyonder from the Molecule Man after stripping them from Doctor Doom. With his new powers, he brought his family, including Franklin and the Future Foundation, back to life. Franklin and his family then began helping his father and the Molecule Man restore the multiverse while creating an entirely new realities. There's also a fun little not character, a fun little picture of Franklin um, Richards in an X-Men outfit because he was staying there at one point to help out, and he got a uniform. And it's funny to me because it's not who you think of as him, because although he's a mutant, he is not what you would expect as a mutant.
Okay.
No, meaning like he's not part of the X-Men type of thing is more of what I'm getting at, I should say.
Yep.
Um, so the last thing, with his powers and memory of them restored for 1 day a year, Franklin used his powers to help stop several um, invisible asteroids set about Earth while everyone was asleep. However, lurking in the shadows of his room, Nicholas Scratch undid his work, having the asteroids colliding and possibly destroying Earth once again until the Fantastic Four combined their powers to destroy them once again. Now, my friend, do you know who Nicholas Scratch is?
No.
You should.
Well,
We've
remind me
talked
then.
about him. We've talked about him, especially during um, the greatest sequel series of Marvel Disney Plus shows. It's Agatha's son. Um,
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
so let's talk about his powers. So that's basically his comic book history. Basically, he doesn't know what his powers are, but then they come back once a year, and he does. He basically makes Galactus terrified. Um, Franklin possesses vast telepathic powers, tremendous telekinetic powers, and the ability to fire enormous, powerful energy blasts, and the ability to rearrange the molecular structure of matter and energy. His powers are so great that he has been able to create pocket universes, and his abilities, excuse me, have been described as equal to the Celestials. For comparison purposes, a single celestial is the embodiment of energies in which comparable to the Big Bang itself, and powerful enough to reverberate throughout the entire universe. In fact, Franklin's ultimate potential is so colossal that it has been described by his elder self as above multiversal level in magnitude.
Damn.
He is above that. Franklin's powers come from him being a mutant, and he is considered an Omega level mutant, once stated to be beyond even Omega classification, which, to be fair, makes sense. Even when Franklin was a little boy, Galactus feared Franklin and once fled from Earth to avoid a confrontation with him.
Hmm.
Galactus himself stated that Franklin is the most powerful mutant ever born, and he is also regarded as a threat by the Celestials, who recognize his ability to distort reality and shape the universe. Franklin and Valerina combined proved powerful enough to capture and restore the very existence of Galactus that was hidden within the heart of eternity. They brought Galactus back from the dead. They just poofed him there. By combining the abilities of his present and future selves, Franklin has the ability was able to empower and control a previously defeated Galactus to destroy two mad Celestials. Galactus was his herald. Also, during the same battle, the adult Franklin Richard was able to withstand attacks from a mad celestial and even destroyed one of them. And only an extremely fed Galactus and Reed Richards with the universal atrop- entropy gun was capable to perform this feat, while even the ultimate nullifier was unable to destroy one of the mad celestials, though it could apparently make its mind slightly weaker. Moreover, he was able to cause damage to a nefarious entity known as Mephisto, whose raw power was
Here
vastly
we go again.
boosted by evil energies. He's in Fantastic Four. Evil energies was incredibly beyond its normal levels. In addition, an adult version of Franklin was once described as the great enemy of the Omniverse order. He has reality um, manipulation. He has magic, which I'm disagreeing on because it's according to Doctor Doom, and it's because of his warp reality abilities that it's considered magic. I disagree. I think that's his mutant ability, but they're saying it's partially magic. Whatever. He has the fundamental force manipulation. He has energy construct creation. He has matter manipulation. He has teleportation. He has time traveling ability, although he has not been able to do it while he's young. He's only able to do it when he's older. It's weird.
Makes sense. Control of
Well,
his power more.
that's exactly it. He has the ability for duplication. Um, he has he has the ability to merge with other beings, such as his sister, into a double conscious being. So we could just combine the two of them together. Telepathy, illusions, telepathic cloak, mind link, telepathic camouflage, mind control, mind possession, mind alteration, mind mental amnesia.
So many minds. Oh my god.
Psionic shield, psionic blast, astral plane connection, which does make sense. Mental detection, mind transfer. Basically, he can transfer his mind to another body. Telekinesis, energy projection, precognition, cognitive dreams. He basically can manifest abilities in his dreams. Don't even get me started. Psionic resistance, superhuman durability, and flight. Apparently, he's got one weakness. Thank God. Power tampering. Um, he's used his powers to alter his genes, memories, and powers themselves, making it appear to everyone, including himself, as if his powers depleted through overdose until he lost them completely. However, obviously, we know that's not true. Now, we have to talk about the power grid because it is out of 7, as always, and I'm kind of surprised at his power grid. Because based on what I described to you, Mike, what are you expecting?
6 and 7s across the board.
Yeah, that's not what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay.
Intelligence is a 4 because it is gifted. His strength is a 1 because he's weak. I get that because it's physical strength, but you would understand where I'm a little surprised by that.
Hmm.
Speed is a 2 because he's normal. His durability, I'm surprised, is only a 3 because it's enhanced. His fighting skill is a 2 because it's normal, and then his energy projection is a 7 because it is virtually unlimited.
Okay.
So the reason why I wanted to bring him up is because he is literally a god in. He's basically Marvel Jesus.
Here we go
Um,
again.
no, this guy is Marvel Jesus. Jesus. Um, but like actually, like Wade Wilson says he is, but this one is. Um, this guy is definitely, and he's got the power to prove it. So one of the big things I have to say is, he's gone by a few different names. He's gone by Powerhouse at one point. But overall, I'm very excited to see him in the in the MCU.
Mm,
Granted, we're going to see him as a toddler, but even as a baby, he has scared Galactus away. So we might see some reality warping abilities here.
that'll be cool.
But very curious to see what happens next. But for overall, if you've made it, oh, next week, sorry, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Last of Us, and that is it.
Yeah, maybe any trailers, but we'll
No, it'll
see.
probably be trailers, but I mean, for the most part, there's nothing until June.
Yeah, next thing is I believe the next thing that comes out is um Ironheart.
I think you're right, but I don't know if there's something DC wise
I
or
don't
show wise.
I think that
I thought there
only
might have been an animated thing, but I don't know.
no, I think the only DC thing coming out is Superman.
All right, either way. So what I'll be saying is, so next week it's going to be The Last of Us, any trailers, and a character spotlight from Mike. So if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.